And it's gonna take 2 of these. That is the main seal on the transmission.
Hi.
Vivian is coming with me. We're meeting a tow truck. What car are we riding in right now?
A Type R.
You like it?
Yeah, I like the Civic Type R.
So he shared his location with me, and apparently he is up there. This is 62nd Avenue, so he is actually going to beat me to the shop because we've been stuck at this light. I think that might be him right there. Look at that. That is him. Did they just break?
They just broke as soon as I picked them up.
I just glued those for you too. So this is Seth. He's moved a bunch of cars for us now, and I'll put all your information on the screen. You do pretty much all of this coast, right? All of the East Coast?
All the East Coast. Actually, I'm heading to Los Angeles after this.
Oh, wow. So
yeah,
every coast.
I'm all over the place.
You're all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put your information down there if it's something you can use him for. He does fantastic work. He's moved a bunch of cars for us now. I've referred him. He's done great work. So I'm going to open up the shop. I'll let you back it out. Okay. And we'll bring it in. I know you've got to go. You've got to go back on the road. I wish I'd have just recorded that conversation I had with him, but he thinks like us. He says, I don't care if this is an S2000 or a Ferrari. I treat it like my car. I spend the extra time with the ramps, making sure the straps are correct. I mean, I like that. That's how I want my car moved. That's how you want your car moved. If you're bringing your car to me, that's how you want it handled. So this is a little dirty. When we're done with our work, I'm going to show you. It's Sunday. I'm going to go home. I'll show you the list on the board, what we're doing, and I'll try and go over it with detail. And then I think I'm going to wash it before it goes back to him. Even though he said, I don't really need that, I feel good, and I want it to look really nice when it goes back to him. Look at that red and black interior. Wow, that's interesting. All right, I'll show you the rest of this tomorrow. It's Monday. We are on it right now. I got to go see the t-shirt lady. She has got a design for us to approve. We're making the new shirts for the classic Hondas on the Dragon meet. If you're at the meet, they're going to be 15 bucks each.
15 bucks, little man. Put that.
Anyway, 15 bucks. These are jerseys. Perfect.
So same length?
Yeah, same size you did on the last shirt.
Yeah, that's 12 inches.
Okay, yeah, the size is the same. That's good. So I'm excited. October 12th and 13th, Classic Hondas on the Dragon. You have to be there. Do a little bit of Googling, do some searching, and post around and see what people are saying. It's the best meet you will ever go to. He wants some of these things just for peace of mind, like brand new clutch, brand new starter, brand new alternator. A lot of this is peace of mind. This is going to be a pretty time-consuming thing. We'll show you as we go. Bad experience with bushings over the years, like the energy suspension style, the ones that just creak. So these are Hardrace, so we'll show you what they look like. Alternator is off. Somebody's already been in here. I'm going to call him and just see if I can get a bit of a backstory.
I'm trying to get the washer out. It's in this rubber boot. They put the nut on backwards.
Oh, really? So the washer was on the back side?
The washer off, and
this has been replaced. This is a whole new tensioner.
That one feels good too.
This one feels good. Somebody did put the original belt back on, which is not really the best idea. I'm going to call him and just kind of get an update on this, and then we'll go through, obviously, the clutch
I went ahead
starter.
And wrote belt on the board because I'm not putting that old belt back on.
No, that don't make sense. I'd just like to get like an update just in case there's something else that he remembers. It'd be nice to just verify it fits on there. Yeah, it fits on there, perfect. Yep. That's good to know. I can update the site, so if you're using the Wix filter, you know, feel good to use this tool. This is something you guys have probably never seen before. Trailer hitch on an S2000. And it says 2,000 pounds towing, 200 pounds tongue weight. That's about what a Cybertruck will pull.
What? No, are you?
You guys seen this before? You've seen it before?
Yeah.
You have?
That's how you get a jet ski to the lake.
A little jet ski. Something we notice right here, this is the back wheel, and it has a 205 55 16, which is a front tire off an AP1. Then on the front right here, you see how the tire looks a little beefy. Well, the back tire is on the front, 255 50 16. And the tires are not in the best shape. They're not really that good of a tire, and there's not a whole lot of tread. It's not bad on that one. This one doesn't look real good. Right there is pretty thin. And then this one here So it's not really worth swapping around. That one doesn't have much tread at all. It's literally down to the bars. This is what has to be removed for the retainers and keepers. There is the retainers and keepers. And there is the new retainers and keepers, AP2s. So this is the lines that we use. These are the Goodrich brake lines. I think these are pretty much the best quality there is. There is some brake company lines in the news right now that are having issues. One thing, rest assured, these are DOT approved. Right there. I'm gonna put that down so I can show you the line. This is the line. These are obviously braided stainless, they're crimped, and they have this clear cover over there. Keeps them clean. I mean, if you're into your, you know, super anal about stuff, you can actually wipe it down with a rag. That look nice. Last resort for your drive shaft bolts when they don't come out, the only way is to cut them with a cut-off wheel. These are notorious for just being soft, and I managed to get 4 out of the 6 after trying, shocking them, trying every different tool, every different Allen. This is how we sell them in the store. We sell you the rear as well. Transmission is loose. We're doing the clutch. It's the factory clutch. Quite a bit of dust. We'll take it apart and take a look. So, quick PSA, there was someone that used to troll me online and tell me that I should clean all of this out and pressure wash it and blow it out and who knows what. That may be one of the worst things for you to breathe in. You see that sparkly stuff right there? There is so many things in that. There's fiberglass, there is, who knows, like an equivalent to an asbestos. That's the last thing you want to get in your lungs because it won't come out. So for the guy that tells me I should wash it, I could be mean and say you should wash yours out, but I wouldn't recommend it. Don't do it. If it's not dripping in oil, leave it alone. If it's not loose, it's not going to come loose. So there it is. Let's take the clutch out. See what the flywheel looks like. So this is the Honda clutch. It's pretty distinctive. For one, it has the Honda embossed. If I can get the light correct. Right there. Right in the shadow, you see that? Get the camera to focus right there. And it has the unique FCC and then the ink, and then same as the disc. It has the Honda logo right there and the FCC. Exetti don't make this clutch. In fact, customer just recently put an Exetti clutch in his car, and then a few months later said it wouldn't go into gear. I told him it's either the bearing or the disc, and he found out it was the disc. I'll put a picture right here. Just remove the slide. That is the main seal on the transmission. See how bad it's leaking? Pretty wet. So we have an install kit that includes the main seal for the trans, main seal for the motor, a new rubber boot right here, a new slide, and enough Aurora grease, look at that, to put it all back together. There's the main seal. We actually use a different kind of puller now because every puller we've tried usually breaks, and this is a foolproof way. But anyway, seal for the trans. It comes in our install kit. We always recommend doing the OEM stuff. You see that right there? These are the banjo bolts, also known as jet bolts. The AP1s have 2 holes right there. The feed is the same, but this is where the oil comes out and it feeds into this guy right here and sprays out of here. The newer ones have 4 holes, and this is the difference. Nice generous helping of Honda splodge. So we always recommend putting this on and then letting it sit for 24 hours before you put oil in it. Of course, it's a full bushing kit. We've separated them into groups where we think they're going to go. We'll show you a few along the way. This is probably upper front control arm compliance bushings, shock bushings. Anyway, talking of compliance bushings, these are the ones that usually give you the most issues because the bolt going through here obviously is a long bolt and it gets stuck in here. It's this one right here. Often what happens, there is the nut up there that slides. It's on like a cam, just like here. This is what you turn to adjust the alignment. The sleeve in here often gets stuck to the bolt. This bolt is a bear to get off. What I would do is what we did last night is sprayed everything with PB Blaster and let it all soak. Unfortunately, this is coming off for us, but we have had them where that will not come off. You end up having to cut it here, take it off, push that out, put a new bolt in. It can be a real pain. Also, what I would do, it's going to require an alignment anyway, but mark all your chems right here, just so it's pretty close. Once it all goes back together, we recommend letting it settle for a couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 days of driving, then do the alignment, because it will settle. When we tighten all the bushings, we want to tighten them in the neutral position when the weight is on the car. We'll show you that, but I would grab yourself some of this. This is available everywhere, a PB Blaster. It's a penetrating oil. Everyone has a variation of this. I think they're all very similar. We've tried a whole bunch. This is some aircraft AC50, I think it's called. A customer gave us it, and he said it's the best thing you can get. And to be honest, they work about the same. I would tell you, spray it the night before, and if you got time, just keep going back and give it a couple of douses of spray. You're not going to hurt it. So this compliance bushing is the worst one you're going to do. The bolt often gets stuck in the sleeve in here. So spray it. Don't be afraid. Spray it. Put a rag on the floor. Put a bucket to catch it. Douse all this first. I would always attack the compliance bushing first, because it's the worst bushing on the car. Do this one first, then it's downhill from there. This is the control arm from the driver's side. So just to give you an idea, that is the compliance bushing, and it's not completely broken, but it's pretty soft. It was actually stuck in this bent position when we took it out. This is the new, this is the new compliance bushing. That has to be pressed out, that has to be pressed in. This one over here is this one. So there's one thing, they do look the same as the OEM. And then one of these is the shock, which is here. These unbolt, so I left the ball joint in. The ball joint is tight. It didn't supply ball joints, but they are in good shape. That way we don't have to disturb that joint there. And we took that off because this is easier to get to, just to let you know. But we're not changing those. Those end links are actually in good shape. Let's start pressing these out. So you're going to need something like this. This is called a ball joint separating tool. This is called a bearing separating tool. Everything you can do is going to give you more chance of getting the size right. This was one of the more common sizes that we've used in the past. You can even revert back to sockets. The idea is you want to make sure the inside diameter is the same as the inside diameter of the arm, and then of course something to support the other side of it. There is different shape ones. Anything you can find, like I say, tubes, sockets, anything. I mean, we keep random things around here. We have actually a bin down here that has different sizes that we've used in the past for bearings and such. Because it's critical to get that size, you have to push the bushing out and the sleeve to use the new bushings. Getting the sleeves right is a big plus. That's the exact sleeve we need to push this one out. That is it right there. So same thing, we've got to use that sleeve to push it back in, but it's a bit of a chore and time consuming, but this is something that all S2000s are going to need, and it's something we're going to have to start offering, because the amazing difference when you tighten the bushings up front of the car. You forget over time how loose it's getting, and then when you tighten it up, it feels like a go-kart again, which is what the S2000 feels like when they're good. This is before, this is after successful bushings pressed in, so this is going to make a huge difference. I'm really excited to see what this feels like, having those much tighter bushings in it. Really is something that S2000 is going to need, especially those compliance ones. As you see, that is a much more solid bushing than the factory one, which is open. So put 100,000 miles on top of that. Bushings get a little bit soggy over time. Maybe if we can look at that one, see how that one is actually off center. It's just because of the weight is on the shock. You see it's kind of pushing this side. It's bulging out a little bit. When they're new, they're perfectly centered. The lower arm is in, everything is loose. What we're going to do is load it on the suspension to lock it down, and like I mentioned, put the marks as close as it was. It will need an alignment, but if we can get it kind of close, then it'll go down the road close enough. It probably won't need that much of an adjustment, but it's always best to get it close. New bushing going in. This is arm number 2. I feel like we've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
It's working now. upper control arm. It's going to take 2 of these. So there's 2 for the backs and 2 for each side front. So they're going to go in. I think it's in that direction. Pretty sure it goes in that way. Yeah, it goes in that way. Just want to make sure. Always good to check, right?
Yep.
And do it and going, oh, that ain't gonna work. Bushings in. So it's hard to charge for this stuff. We kind of just said, you know, TBA, basically hourly, and that's what we're gonna do. But it's something that's good to offer in the future, like I mentioned. Something important here, this is just a crude drawing, but this is the arm, this is the bushing, this is the center right here. Your bolt goes through here, this is pressed in the arm. This section here is rubber. So all of the flexing is all twisted in that rubber. So you want to make sure the car is on its suspension before you lock down this bolt, because it twists like this as the suspension goes up and down, and all that twisting is on this rubber. This isn't a bearing, so it's just the flex in the rubber. It works very well, but you want to set that arm with the suspension in its correct place, so it's only going to move this much. The next thing to do is to lower it down, and we're going to set it on its suspension to put basically all these arms in the position that they need to ride, and then lock everything down. That way, if you lock it down here and then you bring the suspension up, you're basically twisting the bushings beyond what it's supposed to do. So it should be in the neutral, like basically ride position, then lock everything down. So that's what we're gonna do. But it's the end of the day. We are dirty. We've washed our hands like 6 times. It's time to do this tomorrow. This is the filter that came off it, the wicks. A lot of guys are a fan of this filter, really good filter. So can confirm the LHT filter tool does fit that. So you can use it to remove the filter as well as torque it correctly. Honda recommend that you torque it to 7/8 of a turn, hence why we have the marks on there, because they're notorious for vibrating off and filters coming loose. If you do a quick Google, it's a scary thing, but it's happened a lot. We've seen it. We've had one of our customers it happened to, and since then he's torqued his filters and then no more issues. Use your factory Honda cap to put back on. It has the weight on there. We sell a new cap in the store, by the way, as well as a tool. This is the same as the filter. If you don't tighten it enough, they're notorious for coming loose, and then when you torque them on, they're hard to get off. Get the LHT filter tool in the store. You can tighten it. All right, engine bay is going to look a little bit different. We don't have a detail sponsor yet, so we don't have anybody to tell you what products to use. This is just a mystery product we're using to clean the engine bay. So a lot of people have said, hey, I don't know if you're supposed to get the engine bay wet. Yeah, the engine's designed to get wet. Been doing this for 30 plus years. There's just areas that you want to avoid putting too much pressure. And obviously this is just a mild detergent, but you don't want it to sit longer than it needs to, especially on the paint. Photoshop looked like nice. Look how much nicer that looks. Looks like brand new. So you can see the shiny alternator through that hole right there. You can see that. You can't see the starter, but the starter, when it's new, a brand new starter, makes all the difference. It starts much quicker and cleaner. You hear that? It's got a real nice, clean, like a whining sound. Really, really nice. Honda starter, Honda alternator. It's the first time we've done full bushings in one of these that's not those energy suspension, which we used to offer. We did a few sets, and then we had some cars come back after maybe like 3 years, and they started squeaking. And it's not just one joint, it was almost every joint, and we used their special grease. So I'm wondering if on the Florida roads, with it being really, really wet and, you know, going some speed on the highway, if it just washes that grease out, because we've even re-greased them, and they'll go for about a year, and then you'll hear it squeaking. It sounds like, you know, an old truck. So this is definitely more of an OE style bushing. I think they're a little stiffer, especially the compliance. I mean, I know it sounds silly, I can feel the difference already. Just going around that driveway, but just touching the steering wheel, it feels like immediately noticeable. It's actually a little bit more noticeable than I thought it would be. Engine's nice and quiet. We did a valve adjustment when we did the retainers and keepers. Clutch is brand new, so I'm not doing any fast shifting or slipping the clutch more than I have to. Just using the clutch. I would say use the car like you're delivering pizza, just up and down the box, up and down the clutch. And, you know, no high-speed revving, no high-speed shifting. But yeah, it's like immediately planted. I mean, I know it's kind of hard to see this on camera, but like if I go down the straight right here, if you can see the steering wheel, so it's almost got the feel of my GT4. Like the GT4 steering was incredible. It felt like there was no linkage between the steering wheel and the front wheel. It was that connected. This is the closest thing to it yet. I'm definitely going to recommend these bushings. This one was our first one. We doubled up on it, and I think we had both working side by side, taking it apart, pushing them out, pushing them back in, putting it back together, assembling it. I think between the two of us, adding our hours, I would say we had probably 20 hours, because we had a full day yesterday, like from start to finish, side by side, 8 hours, and then finished it off this morning by around noon, which it's actually 12:30 right now. So yeah, that's about 20 hours, but it's worth it. I would hate to see what the dealership would charge for this, not to mention the price of the arms. I think most of the arms are discontinued, which have the bushings in. I'm trying to do this one-handed. The alignment isn't too bad. It pulls to the left just a little bit, and we have a crown in the road right here, so it should be pulling to the right. It's not that bad. Steering wheel is off just a hair. But like I mentioned, drive it a couple of days, you know, 50 to 75 miles, and then get an alignment. This car's going to need tires too. One of the tires looks a little sketchy. One thing I can say is it's still smooth. We've done rigid bushings before, and you can feel the grain in the road. I know that sounds silly, but you hold the wheel and you can feel the road. It was so harsh, which for a street car is too much. It's not a direct, dedicated track car. We don't need solid bushings. But this is definitely, the feedback is noticeable. Like my car only has 22,000 miles on it, and I don't think it is as connected as this. This has 120 or 5 miles on the new bushings. That's pretty impressive. I think he's going to be pleasantly surprised when he drives this car. It is done. I can call the customer and then call Seth, our shipping guy. He's going to come back and pick it up. He is coming from LA right now. So at the beginning of the video, that's where he was going. Look how beautiful that engine is. Can't wait for him to open the hood and look at that. Back to North Carolina. Guys, thanks for watching. Like I always say at the end of the video, enjoy your cars. And I do mean that. That's what it is all about. It's exactly a week since he dropped the car off. He got delayed. So I'm meeting him back at the shop. He's picking up the car. That way we can get it back to the customer. My wife never likes me really doing this stuff on the weekend because I spend so many hours during the week doing car stuff. Like I showed you the first time, listen to this starter. It sounds so sweet. It starts up so fast. So he is here. He's at the end of my street. Let's go over and hand off the car, and then he can be on his way. always like to assist if I can. I'm not doing anything. My wife actually went out to breakfast with her friends, so I can play with cars a little bit longer. 11 o'clock at night. I was washing it. Best time to wash. Here in Florida, it cools down and less mosquitoes out. Hopefully you found the video informative, and some of the tools we used in the video, they're in the description. They are in the LHT store, the filter wrench, the bolts, the install kit, the oil cap tool and such. Don't forget classic Hondas on the drag. I think it is the best Honda meet you'll ever go to. Not just the drive, not just the roads, the people and the cars you're going to meet. So many people out there are like-minded, want to drive their cars. They're not parking lot queens. They're actually drivers. This is such a memorable experience. You should do everything you can to be at this meet. So many things happen in life, so many changes, so many things that you wish you'd done and you never got round to. You can go back and do them again. There is no second chance. Enjoy it while you can. Enjoy your cars. I really mean that. Come and meet me. Come and meet some of the LHT crew and see so many people that are going to enjoy talking to you about your car and their car. And don't forget the LHT t-shirt for classic Hondas on the Dragon 9. I'll put the little commercial at the end. And we'll see you on the next video.